I can add a book 14, 300, I need 8. I save. Very good. Now, as you noticed, after I finished saving, the form just disappeared. There's no feedback. So to fix this, we need to have some toaster that notifies the user that the operation has been saved successfully. Now, for the toaster, we will create a new component UI. I will name it toaster.js. It will return a div. Inside of it will be the text that I provide through props. MSG, let's name it MSG or text. The toaster needs to be floating on the page, so I need to give it a certain style. First I'll import styled, and I'll create a new component that will be styled accordingly to look like a toast. So I can create a toaster styled, which will be equal to styled.div. This component, of course, will replace this one. Here I'll give it a position fixed. For now, all our toast will show on the right bottom of the screen. So right will be, let's say, 20 pixel, and bottom will be also 20 pixel. The width will be 200 pixel for now. We'll make the width fixed. The height will be variable to fit long text. The border radius of 6 pixel. The background by default is very light gray and the border gray. Let's give it a shadow, box shadow. This is our toaster. Import toast from toaster. We name it toaster actually, and I'll export. Now for this toaster, provide a single toast, but I want to be able to provide multiple toasts at the same time. What I will do is, instead of prop.text, I'll have prop.toasts, and I will map through it and create each toast individually. Now I will change the name of toaster style to just wrapper with capital W, and I will loop through prop.toasts, which I'll extract it from the props, and here toasts dot map toast, which will be a div dot toast. Here each toast will have its own text. It's an array of text, so I will display the toast, which is a text. So here we'll be sending an array of text. This array will be transformed into toast. So concerning the style sheet, the wrapper will be positioned as we already doing here, right button and with a position fixed, but the other styles will be related to the individual toast. We have the border radius, which I'll remove the border radius, the background, make it 4:1, plus I'll add a padding of 15 pixel and a margin top of 15 pixels to give spacing between the toast. So they will be stacked on top of each other, and there will be a space of 15 pixel between each. So this is our UI toaster component. Let's give it a try. Here I have the app.js that is using the book form. Inside the book form, here I need to trigger the toast once the save is successfully complete. After the set is model to false, I want to trigger the toast. The component toast need to be available even after the book form has been closed or hidden. So the toast need to be in the parent of book form, which is the app.js. So I'll import toaster from UI, Now I can use the toaster like this, and I need to provide a variable called toasters just for testing. I will provide here, I will hard code the array 1 toast 2. So let's run. The naming is wrong, it's toast. Alright, now I should see the toast, but it's not visible for some reason. Oh, I need to return this statement here, or I can use the shortcut like this. This will automatically return the single statement of the body of the function. So now if I save, I will see 2 toast that appears. Now for the shadow is a little bit strong, I will reduce. Alright, this is our 2 toast here. Now to activate this when the form is saved, I need to have a state here in the app and send a function that modifies the state to book form. So I'll create toasts and set toasts. By default it will be an empty array. Now set toasts will be sent to book form. Set toast equal, and here I will send the toasts variable. Now inside my book form, I will grab the set toasts function, and I will use it once the form is successfully saved in the on submit. Here, after the set is model to false, I will set toasts to an array with a single toast, successfully save a new book. So let's test it. Now let's really save a book 15, 100 page, date, and save. Now here is my toast. For now everything is working as expected. I will make it a little bit larger, 300 or 280. Now this is a way to make a toaster work, but now each component that need to use the toast, I'll need to send it a set toast, plus if the component is deep down many level in the tree of parent-children component, I'll need to pass it many times. Since a feature like a toaster will be used regularly in our application, anywhere deep down the tree, I would like to have the state of the toast to be managed by the toaster itself, plus I need this state to be accessible by other component. So I want it to be something global. To make this requirement happen, we need to use some kind of store, and fortunately React provide a good solution for this, which is the context. With the context we can provide variables that are easily accessible from anywhere in our application without passing function through the trees of components. So what I will do is create first a file named toaster context.js. First I will create a new context. I will put it in a constant variable. I'll name it toaster context equal to react.createContext. Here I need to provide the default value of this context, which will be an array of toasts. By default, the array will be empty. So here I need to export this constant. Now this exported toaster context contain a provider and a consumer, which now I can use to provide and consume this value here, the value of the context. So if I want to test, I can go through my app.js and import the toaster context from UI/toaster context, and I can use it here to wrap the component with toaster context.provide. Provider is capital P because it returns a component, so That is why we are using it as a component. So here I need to set the value to, I can hard code the value, for example, an array of, let's say, I'll give it a toast. Now this value can be used by any child of these components. Let's go deep to a child of book form, for example, the button. The book form here contain a button child or a message. Let's use the button for just for testing. If I go to button and I can here consume the context. Of course, first I need to import the created constant, which is here toaster constant. So in the button I can import toaster context from qi/toaster context, and I can use it to consume this context, toaster context dot consumer, expect a function as a child, and will run it with the context value as a parameter. So I can grab the context value as a parameter for this function, which will be here, you can name it toasts, and here I can pass the content of the component. Now I can use this toast variable, which is an array, and we set it by default to a single element toasts. Let's say my toasts. Here in my app, as you can see, we have set it, we have hard coded the value. Now I can use it, let's say, let's replace the label with toasts 0. Let's grab the first element of the array and see if everything is working as expected. Now React is not defined. Of course, I need here to import React since I'm using it. Import React from React. Right, so now if I click add book, I can see here the value my toast is displayed instead of the label. So here, this is how context work. I can use it in any child of the app, however deep it is, by using the context consumer. Now here I can consume the value, but what I need is to change the value of the context. I need to add toast. So what I can do, I can use the state we have created earlier, the toast state, the set toast to be specific, to send it with the value. Instead of having my toast, I need to send an object that contains the value of the toast, which will be toasts, value here in the use state, and another value which is the set toast, the function that will allow now any component to be able to change the context value. Now set toast will change the toasts, and here since we are importing the toaster, it will work, it will connect and display our toasts. So now in the button I will return the label and I will add an on click. Once I click the button, I need to add a toast. This is just for testing. Here I will grab the set toasts to an array of 2 toasts. My toast and my toast 2. So what will happen here is the book form. I'm sorry, I don't need to provide the set toast to book form. What is happening here is now the context provide an array of items. Each items have the toasts list and a function that change that list relying on a local state of the app component. This way, any child of the app can access the set toasts and use it to set or reset the toasts. So I can test it now. Set toast is not defined. It's not a function. Oh, here I need to ditch the array, and in the context also I need to ditch the array. Now the array is inside the toasts, which will be an empty array, and the set toasts, which will be now a dummy function. This is the structure of our context. Always you need to define the structure. Now in the button I need to extract set toast now from the object to be able to use it. I'm not providing a function to onClick, which will be run repeatedly. What I need to do is provide a function that the event will run once it is triggered. Now I set this statement inside a function and give it as a value to onClick. So here, if I click add book and then I click save, which will give us an error because the form is empty, I will get the two toast. Now I can trigger my toast and they will be displayed on the screen anywhere from any component. Here I send an array of two toasts. Now there's an issue with our setup concerning the toasts. What is happening here in the button.js, instead of adding a toast, I'm resetting the toasts. The behavior that I'm looking for is that if a component need to display a message, a toast on the screen, it don't need to be concerned about the array here, the structure of the context. It just need to add a toast, add only the content of the toast, and the app will handle the rest. To achieve this behavior, instead of sending directly the set toasts, I can send a function that handles the setting, the manipulation of the array, and do additional stuff like removing the toast after a couple of seconds. So I will create a constant add toast, which will be equal to a function that will set the toast. Here I need to pass a text as a parameter. Set toast will update the array with a new item, the text here. So I will set the array with the old toasts with the new item. So it will contain the old toast and will add a new item. Now here I'm using the old toast state to guarantee that I'm using the previous state, not the new updated one. Set toast provide another format for its parameter. If I send it a function, I can grab the previous toast variable. So now instead of sending directly the set toast, I'll send the add toast. In addition, each time I add a toast, I will set a timer for this toast to be removed in, let's say, 3 seconds. So I will create a set timeout that will run a function in 3 seconds. This function need to pop an item from the array. Here I will use again set toast, and I'll give it a new array. The new array will be the old toasts minus the latest one. So I will also use the function syntax. So I will grab the previous toast and I will slice it. Now I'm using slice because it doesn't change the color. It will return a new array dot slice 0 ref toasts dot length -1. Here I'm slicing the array starting with 0 and ending with the length of the array -1 item. In the button now, instead of sending an array, I can set only the value of the toast using the now named add toast, the method, the function add toast, and I will send it a text my toast, not with s, just add toast. Save. Here is my toast. Each time I click save, a toast will be added and they will be removed. So I noticed I'm doing something not right. So here the text need to add it at the beginning of the array. So I'll add one at the beginning and I will remove the last one. So what will happen is each time I add a new toast, I set a timer to remove a toast. So at the end, there will be the same amount of timers as the toast. Each time it will remove the oldest toast. Alright. Here, if I try it, each time I add a new toast, it will be added from the bottom, and the oldest one will be removed. So here it works like this: one will add, one will remove, add, remove. Now all is good. Each time I want to use a toast in a child component of my application, since I am providing my toast to the whole application, I can use this consume it in this way. As you can see, we're doing a lot of work related to toasts, and I don't like it to have a lot of work related to certain components. So what I want to do is to remove this code and remove this code to the toaster component. I can do it by creating a component that manage all this functionality here and here, and in its turn it will rope our application. What I will do here is instead of exporting only the toaster content, I will export also a component that I will name it toaster provider, which will be a component. This toaster provider will use the toaster context, will return the toaster context with the same value that we're using in our app. And we'll have the same function and state. So here I need also to import use state from React. Now this toaster component will wrap the app component, so I need to display the proper children of the app component. Next, I need to display the toasts also, so I will import the toaster UI component as I'm doing here in the app.js. Similar also to app.js, I need to use the toaster component in a similar manner that we did before. Now I need to export both of these component, the toaster context and the toaster provider. Here it is ./toaster. Now alright, here I need to grab the props since I'm using props.children. Now in my app.js I can remove the toaster, and instead of importing the toaster context, I will import the toaster provider from toaster context, and I don't need this line here that create a state for toasts, and I don't need also this line that will add toasts. I can here use toaster provider directly. I don't need to set the value. I don't need also, of course, this toaster here. Alright, so let's try it. There's an error, render is not a function. Am I using render somewhere? Alright, here I guess I need to wrap this with an element. I need to send only a parent single element. Toaster context. I forget to use the dot provider. So here it is. Now it is working as expected, as before. Now it is working as before, but much more cleaner. All the related code to toaster are inside the toaster component. This is it for the toaster. Now here's the style of the toast. For a success message need to be green. So I will add a style with condition. Here in the toaster context, we are giving the toast array to the toaster. What I need to do is, instead of having an array with text, I will have an array with item objects. Each item will have the text and the type of the toast. So to grab the text, I will use toast.text, and here I will send a prop that is type equal to toast.type. Now to be able to use the type here as a condition in my style, I need to create a separate component for this element here. I'll name this component toast, and I declare it here toast with style. It will be a div, and I'll copy this same style here that I was using for the class toast. And I will remove the rules for the .toast class. Now here I can use the condition. I can use the prop to add style depending on the value of the prop.type. Props.type equal to success. I will add additional style with CSS, which I need to import also. Here it will have a background color of green, color forest green, and the color of the text will be white. Now in case it's an error, I will use the tomato red, and the color will be white. So in my button here, instead of sending add toast my toast, Now we need to send an object with text of my toast, and the type will be success. So if I type now save, I have a still we have the border. For the border, I will remove it. Border none for both. Now if I save, alright, it's good. Another issue is we were using here the toaster context in the button just for testing, but what I need actually is to have the toast only in case we have a success case. Now even we have an error, I can still have the toast. So I will move this the consumer from the button to the book form. So I will import first in the book form the context for the toaster. The same as we are doing here, we'll be doing for the book form. Here it needs to be a function to be able to grab the value of the context. We'll grab the add toast, and it will return the wall content we already have here. I need to wrap it, since we're inside JSX, I need to wrap it with accolade here and here. Sorry, it's supposed to be to wrap the wall function to indicate to JSX that we are using JavaScript function or JavaScript statement. So I can remove it now from the button. And I can remove the onClick plus the import, which will return to its state before we start with the toaster. In the book form, we need to trigger the toast after the form has successfully been saved. So in order to be able to use the add toast inside the onSubmit function, I'll need to send it as a parameter to onSubmit. So here in my form onSubmit, I will bind this, and with an additional parameter, the add toast. I will remove the previously added set toast. Here in the onSubmit function, I will grab the add toast parameter. I still have the event parameter sent automatically as the last parameter. Now I can use add toast. Here after I close the model, I can use the add toast, which will have with text equal to successfully added in your book, and the type will be success here. Now if we add a new book, book 16, 400 pages, any day. If I save, the form will close and I get the toaster here in the button, which will be removed in 3 seconds, which is perfect. Now, while I'm working in this application, I noticed a couple of things we can improve. First, in the book form, we are using the native button element instead of using the button UI component we have created. So I use the button here, and Concerning the label, I noticed that I'm using it as a prop, but I prefer what makes sense more is to use it here as a child for this component, similar way how HTML works. So I will remove the label here. But for the label now, I'll be using the props dot children, and I'll remove the label here. Rest dot children. Let's see, all is working fine. Yes, perfect. Now I can provide, since we have the outline style, let me see how the outline will look, if it's more appropriate. This is the outline, which is fine. I'll use the outline. Another thing I need to change is the here's the use effect. As I can see, it only concerns the book list. I'm creating this use effect only to fetch the book from Firestore and send it directly to book list. It's better if we have it inside the book list, since we're only using it for book list. I will remove this to book list. Here inside my book list I will add the use effect. Plus I need also to remove the related state. Now I need also the DB from the Firestore. Plus I need those two. Now I can remove the Firebase, the use effect I'm not using anymore. And for the book list, I'm relying on the books that was sent to me by props. Now I don't need it. I don't need to send books. Let me make sure that everything is working fine. It seemed like yes. Now the book list have a good piece of HTML, which I can separate them by creating a component for single book. Here I can create a new file called bookitem.js, which will be a functional component. Of course, it will have a property book item. It will return the content here. Okay, good. I'm using the same name, which will work automatically. So here I will import the book item. And I will use it and give it the book prop, which will be to book. I will export default book item. Let's make sure everything is working fine. Yes, everything is working fine. Now our app.js become cleaner. The same thing I can do for book and set book. I'm not using it anywhere except in book form. Let me move it to the book form. Here I don't need the book and set book. I don't need also here to provide the book and set book, and the use state, we don't need it anymore. If I go check, everything seems to work fine. Now, concerning the Firebase Firestore, since I'm using it only in a single place, instead of creating a constant, I can directly use it to grab the collection without having a constant variable. Now, Concerning the list, as you can see, it takes a second to load. In this time, there's nothing indicating that it is loading. So imagine we have a slow network. In this time, I would like to put a loading indication. So in the book list component, here I have the book.map where I'm displaying the book item if books array length is more than 0. Now I need to check in case the length is 0. I need to provide instead a loading. I can do this by checking for books.length. If it's 0, it means false. I will display a loading message, else I will display the list of books. So here it is, loading. Sorry, if not book.length, loading, else books. So if I reload, I can see the loading, which is visible for a second or less. Now concerning the book item, I need to provide a key for this list of book items. The key will be the ID. Is the ID of the book. I'm using it, but now it's not effective because it's inside this component. So I need to move it to here to its parent to get rid of this error in the console. Alright, good. Concerning the loading here, if you noticed, we're using it now in 2 places. Here is a 1 place, and in the button is the 2nd place. But I know in advance that this will change. It will be some looping animation. So what I will do, I will create a component for this and use the component in both places. So I'll create a new UI component called loading.js. It will be a basic text component function loading. It will return just the text, the loading text for now until we fix it later. And I will export default loading. Now I can use it here. Import loading from /UI, but I forget to export it from index. So first I'll import loading from /loading, and I'll export the loading now. Instead of this hard coding the text here, I will use the component. Same for the book list. First I'll import the loading, then I will replace the hard-coded text with the loading component. Now if I reload, perfect. If I add a new book, book 17, 500 page, any date, save. Okay, it's working fine.